Amy Markel. Amy, if you can hear me okay.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'll let you take it away. And you have been instrumental in putting together Hawaii's OA action plan. And I really am happy to have the opportunity to share out some of the context for the action plan, but really some of the next steps and where the action plan has helped inform ongoing monitoring. So over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Jesse, and thanks for making the space. And I'm learning so much from all the other presenters. So I'm honored to be included with this remarkable list of people. I was previously the Sea Grant Grau Fellow for the Division of Aquatic Resources, Department of Land and Natural Resources, State of Hawaii. And during that time, I developed the first version of the State of Hawaii's OA Action Plan. I'm now a PhD student with Dr. Chris Sabine in the Department of Oceanography at the University of Hawaii Manoa, and I'll get into why that's relevant a little bit later in the presentation. Next slide. Just an overview, we're gonna go over the Hawaii OA Action Plan. We're gonna deep dive into some of our updates on increasing scientific understanding in the region, and then I'll give you more progress on these actions to date. So the State of Hawaii Ocean Acidification Action Plan, if you can find it online, it is the first of an iterative planning document, just so you're all aware, and it's providing that vision that we'll need for coordinating action around ocean acidification and climate, ocean climate nexus. And next. So how did it come to be? Well, in 2008, our governor from the state of Hawaii joined the International Alliance as a state member, and in so agreed to develop an OA action plan. The Department of Land and Natural Resources, Division of Aquatic Resources was identified as the lead division for the effort to develop an action plan for the state. And so the division decided to utilize the OA toolkit developed by the International Alliance and began to start engaging with other departments in the state, including Department of Land and Natural Resources, Department of Agriculture, which hosts our aquaculture division, Department of Health, who does our water quality monitoring for the state, as well as partners from the University of Hawaii, including the School of Ocean and Earth Science and Technology, Sea Grant College Program, Pacific Islands Ocean Observing System, PAC-IOS, as well as our International Alliance and NOAA partners. Next slide. So how did we go about introducing the idea of OA and even go about developing an action plan? Well, we decided to host a series of webinars, and they included Dr. Chris Sabine from SOAS, Dr. Hannah Barkley from NOAA, Jesse Turner here, and myself. And we started out with an internal presentation to the division, and then reached out to those external partners that I just listed and received a lot of feedback on the suggested methods for working group and process of action plan development. Next. Unfortunately, although we had a commitment to write an action plan, there was no formal or mandated task force or working group to actually develop the plan. And at the beginning of COVID, this restricted the type of workshops and gatherings that were possible. So we decided to go with smaller topic-based meetings and in-kind participation, as well as joining other working groups that are already existing. So to get at our monitoring capacity and what we had currently, the state of the science, we convened a meeting with the University of Hawaii, Division of Aquatic Resources, Department of Health, specifically the Clean Water Branch, who does the water quality monitoring for Hawaii, PAC-IOS, and NOAA's Ecosystem Division to talk. And then for our climate work, we worked with the state's climate commission and the Climate Ready Hawaii framework and had our goals approved by the state climate commission and continue to work with them. For land-based pollution, we hopped on the working groups for Hawaii's coral reef strategy, the state of Hawaii program plan, and office planning. For aquaculture industry and our local resource users, we talked to our Department of Agriculture, who works with our aquaculture specialists, met industry leaders at the Aquaculture America Conference, spoke with our extension agents from University of Hawaii Sea Grant for aquaculture and our grassroots organization for cultural practitioners, KUA, or KUA Aina Uluwamo, and specifically met with the fish pond coordinator. Our fish pond is our indigenous aquaculture in Hawaii. And the goal of meeting with all of these groups and being a part of these different working groups was to identify actions already being taken by these groups or potential actions that they could take within their scope of work and capacity. Next slide. And this led to the development of these 5 goals here. And just for time, I'm just going to let you read them up on the screen. But they model pretty similarly to what the toolkit outlines, and where we get into the specifics of Hawaii specific objectives and actions is later in the plan. And I'll get into a little bit of some of those. So going to the next slide, we'll jump into goal 1, increasing the scientific understanding of OA in the region. Next. And one of the ways that we did that was by convening the different departments. We wanted to make sure that we aligned biological monitoring with our water quality monitoring. So we got commitments from both the State Department of Health, Clean Water Branch, to provide all data collected from their current and ongoing monitoring efforts, as well as the Division of Aquatic Resources for biological monitoring that intersects and overlaps with our water quality data. Next. Another thing that we wanted to do was increase our spatial coverage and temporal data sets available across the main Hawaiian Islands. We're fortunate enough that we have autonomous map CO2 buoys that are around the island of Oahu. We actually have 4. So we wanted to redistribute at least 2 of those to neighbor islands to get better archipelago coverage. Next. The other thing that we know we needed to do was look into a vulnerability analysis. And one of the things that's exciting about work coming up is the Ocean Acidification Program with NOAA has funded a regional vulnerability assessment in the Hawaiian archipelago. And it's going to be using a modeling approach using the ROMS cobalt model to link ecosystem and with societal outcomes at relevant scales. As you can see on the right, that diagram there shows the high variability we have at a large scale, but for planning and community conversation, we're really looking for that finer resolution scale. So linking the state-of-the-art climate, regional, and coral reef ecosystem models with satellite assessments of acidification is going to be very useful for that. And then to actually get at what the vulnerability will be once we get that ecological physical data set, using social components collected through interviews, workshops, and community surveys will be vital. Next slide. So any other progress on these actions to date, besides what I just mentioned with the vulnerability analysis, we also have, next, new monitoring efforts, including more buoys. So the University of Hawaii has received funding to deploy 3 buoys off of neighbor islands. Like I mentioned, we'll be distributing the 2 MAP CO2 buoys from which autonomously collect ocean acidification parameters, and we will be purchasing 1 new buoy. These buoys are all going to be outfit with the NOAA standard sensors, so we have high quality autonomous data, and we'll still have 2 buoys off of Oahu. We're also partnering with Saildrone to do nearshore coastal monitoring of the same parameters as the MAP CO2 buoys, and we'll fill in areas that the Saildrone will not go with nearshore coastal boat cruises. Next. So for the 5-year outlook, some of the exciting things that we should expect to see is some new temporal data for islands, which we previously did not have before. From Saildrone, we'll have finer resolution nearshore data with high spatial coverage, and we'll have that vulnerability assessment, which really gives us a finer resolution model linked with our satellite data, and as well as social data paired with that biological data. And we'll be able to integrate all these updates and data sets into a revised action plan for 2020, and then again in 2020 or 2030, excuse me. And next slide. And just wanted to say thanks and really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit. And I'm sorry we're cutting it really close to time for the next presenter.
So thank you so much, Amy. Excellent presentation. I will cut my own commentary, but know that I am grateful for the state of Hawaii and yourself and all of your partners for putting this together. And it's great to see this progress in action. So we will stay connected on more share outs. And last